Okay, this is Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. I've been traveling nonstop for 16 plus years, and I've gone to 90 countries. I'm actually in the United States right now. Next week I go to Europe, southeastern Europe. I'll fly into Norway, then go to Croatia, Bulgaria, Romania, Moldova, all these places. Okay, hi, Andy. Hi, I have a question. Janie and I are thinking mainly of traveling in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, Burma, Laos, Myanmar. I say Burma because even in Myanmar they call themselves Burmese, right? It's funny. Laos and Vietnam. We have both been to a couple of those countries previously as 5-star tourists, but want to retire early and lead a PT lifestyle. 60 or 90 days visas and move on. I think he's talking PT. I think he's talking Perpetual Travel. There's a 5-flag thing. There's an idea that you never live in any country long enough to be taxed, okay? And it's pretty brilliant, and I agree with him. I don't have any idea why anybody would go get residency in another country, in my opinion. I would never want to be on the tax rolls of another country. I am already on the tax rolls of America. I don't see why I would ever volunteer to be on the tax rolls. I would actually be a man without a country. 60, 90-day visas, move on, 60, 90 days. So basically that means you got to move 4 times a year, and normally you're pretty tired of the country after 90 days anyway. We live in the UK, so English is our first and only language. Is there a common language in Southeast Asia which is best to learn? Nah, English is the language of travel in Southeast Asia, so you're not going to do it. But you should learn hello, like Sawadee Krap, and Sawadee Ka for the girls, Sawadee Krap for Thailand. And you might think of one of these countries to be your base, and I would say in the countries you just listed there, it's quite obvious that Thailand would be the best base, but they're changing their visa thing, so you ought to have Cambodia here. I don't know why you haven't got Cambodia. It's in the middle right there. They're all going to have rules, and you're going to be jumping around just for visas, right? You also might include the Philippines. Is always easy, but it's not the best place for a couple, really. I mean, that's more of a man-type country. But is there a common language to learn? No. I mean, the only one where you're going to be able to speak English relatively easy is the Philippines, right? But all these countries have the infrastructure set up so you can do it. So there's not. Also, how do you manage the cultural differences between each country? Yes, I know. No talking of religion or politics. Cultural differences is learning their taboos. Like in Thailand, you're not supposed to touch somebody on the head. You're not supposed to point your feet. So what you got to key in is like Cambodia or Malaysia taboos, and then realize like Malaysia is kind of an Islamic country, so there's going to be more things that are things like maybe the wife needs to be more, dressed more demure, or whatever you call it, when in certain places. But you got to learn what is the local, when you say don't talk about politics or culture or religions, the religion's going to tell you a little bit on how to dress. So the way you're really getting in trouble most of the time would be on how you're dressing or how you're talking. Talking very loud in certain cultures is thing, but there's always the how to greet people. So you got to learn how to greet in each culture. In Africa, they greet by shaking a certain way. Some Islamic countries, they do this thing like shalom. And then in most of Asia, they're doing this thing. And then you got the high and the low. You got to be careful because there's different ways. Like people just think they do like this. A low Y to somebody is impolite. A high Y is polite. And you got to know this. And so you got to learn your greetings. And usually you're going to be able to sit around with some average people and just talk to them about this stuff. But they're used to, all of Southeast Asia's used to foreigners just being rude in a way, so you're not going to really get very big culture difference. What you're not going to appreciate is the fact that they don't always want you there, right? And when you actually smile at people and they smile back, this is the universal cultural greeting that you need to learn. You need to be able to say hi to everybody and force yourself to do it. Don't be this closed person. Don't look the other way. Make eye contact and be friendly with people. That's how I deal with cultural differences. I smile them. I sometimes call it breaking their face. I smile at them until they smile back. I do this in America. I do this in England. I do this in every place. I break their face. I break their face from the stone face to the smile. I wouldn't hold into any of these countries very hard. I would think you just listen when you're in any country, talk, and then when something sounds fun, a city sounds fun. Don't think countries, think cities. You're moving from city to city, hotel to hotel. And when something sounds fun, go do it. And you can easily do your perpetual travel lifestyle. He says, I read on your site in Africa it's best to not say hello first. You get treated as a lower class person. Are there any things you should remember for Southeast Asia? I always think my instant thought was the Thai lie. Asians, Asia, most of the planet will say about anything to sell anything. So, as a rule of thumb, if they can make money by lying to you, assume they're lying, okay? And your mom can do it. Your mom and pop, just the nicest person on the planet, can just tell you a lie straight face and just don't think anything about it. While in most of the highly developed countries, the overdeveloped countries, the value of lying is decreased, except for like real estate brokers and travel agents and things like this. Big purchases is still dangerous. But the little small things, they just basically tell you the truth for the most part. But in most other countries, you just expect them to agree with everything. Well, is there a toilet on the bus? They'll say yes. There's no toilet. Physical inspection. Okay, you basically always look at what you're doing and don't depend on somebody's opinion. You got to understand, all those countries over there, and this is a hard thing to see, is that we have bloodlines, right? And in Southeast Asia, they don't intermarry really with us. Even though you see a lot of guys marrying prostitutes, they're not marrying nice girls. And a lot of these high-class people would consider, I'll give an example. My friend Steve N was in Singapore, and he just had an average job, and he was living there, and he thought he was going to have these nice girlfriends, highly educated, and these Chinese girls wouldn't date him because he was, for one thing, they were on the same level of income as what he was, and there was no benefit of being a rich guy, and they basically consider us like bad blood, like we're going to a lot of Southeast Asia consider us as the American or British, or the thing is like dirty in a way. It's like we're soiled. If you dated my daughter, you was soiled. Hey, one of my friends is probably driving by. Hi. So you're always going to be a visitor. And one reason why I like Africa is I could actually become part of the community. When I say part of the community, just because everybody's marrying all these Thai girls or Vietnam girls or whatever, doesn't mean that they're accepted as a neighbor in the thing. You're always going to be the foreigner. But if you got the perpetual travel thing, it's okay, because after you realize that some of these people have been lip service to you and they're not really being your friend, it's really easy to leave, right? But at the end of the day, always look for the smile and the meeting of the minds, where two people are actually wanting to be your friend. And try to make friends with people that want to be your friend. And a lot of times that means there's just little old people everywhere on the planet. There's people that just come up and want to be your friend. Stick with them, and don't get status or social conscious where you have to go to I don't know, like there's these friends say they got married to this Thai person, they met the family of this ambassador, blah blah blah. It's just lip service. That's really not your best friends. Your best friends are somebody you just happen to meet on the street and you buy food at their little stand, and you became friends with them. But you're going to find that most foreigners in Southeast Asia are only talking with other foreigners. They hardly ever. The only thing you see is the men having girlfriends, right? Very seldom. But you know, as a married couple, you should be okay. You'll figure this out. You really, all the worries about you know, getting in trouble with these other countries is very difficult unless you're breaking the law, like, you know, doing drugs or staying out drunk all night till 3 o'clock in the morning. So come home before 11 o'clock at night, say hi to everybody, and you'll be okay. I don't see there's all the people that normally have these big traumatic problems are the ones that are arrogant and act like they should. They don't realize they're a visitor. I mean, if you walk into a culture and you just act like you can do anything you want, you're not a good ambassador, you're not a good visitor. Always remember you're a visitor, and you'll be okay. The people, again, that get in trouble are the ones that act like they can do anything, like big spenders. They think that they're rich and they have all the money, so everybody around them should listen to them. That's the person that gets in trouble. Just be a good person. Thank you.
We can